How's it going, guys? How all are doing? Welcome to a new video tutorial from MyPinist. We are on the fourth one on the series of Node.js, learning Node.js actually. So in today's one in particular, we're going to talk about the file system. So the file system modular, or the standard file system modular from Node.js, how you can use it for your own, for reading files, writing files, deleting files, like manipulating the file system. And since it's cross-platform, so it's gonna do all the heavy liftings in the back or behind the scenes, while you're just gonna call like a couple of functions, and Node.js is gonna do all of that for you. So gonna make your life way much more easier. So all you do here is just require the FS. I'm gonna call it FS in here since it's called FS, short for file system, and require FS. So here we're getting the file system and it's standard way, so you don't need to install it or something because it comes pre-installed with Node.js as the same with the events and event signature. So like standard modules or standard packages in here for Node.js. So it has like a basic methods in here to do, like for if we say we want to like a read file. I have like made a file from Pokemons and like couple of Pokemons named Pikachu, Selby, AV, Snorlax or something. I don't know how to spell these, to be honest, but I'll do my best to spell them. So I've created just a temporary file here just for demonstrating purposes. And let's say we want to read file. So there's a couple of functions in here. If you can see, we have read file sync, read link, and read sync. So we're going to talk about this read file or read file sync. So read file is going to read it on asynchronous way, and read file sync going to read it on synchronous way. So we want to do it in you actually want to do it in an asynchronous way, like you get a callback or something. You don't want from Node.js or your program, to be more specific, to wait till the file finish reading and move on to the next instruction and like keep executing the program. You want to execute your program the whole one at once and do events and things like as we were talking. If you can't understand this one, make sure to watch in the previous tutorials. I have explained that previously, the asynchronous and synchronous things. So as I've said, read the file, and here we can read the file. So first thing, it takes an argument. So let me just show you. It takes the file path and the options like the encoding. So for most of the times it's UTF-8, and the callback, which has the file data that has been read on from the file here. So first thing is the file path. Since the file is on our same directory as the main.html, I'm just going to put Pokemons.txt, and the second one, as I've said, UTF-8. You can add this or it's an optional, but I just prefer to add this one. You don't to know what is going on. The first thing is the error. If any error occurs or exception, is going to throw this error objects or this error variable. And the second one is the data has been read from the files, and this is the callback going to be executed. And what we want is console.log. So Pokemons are those data of Pokemon. So you're gonna read the whole file and just gonna put it into that variable in here where we can just gonna read this one in here. So let me just not clear. So node main.js, we run our application, and here we go. We get our whole file in here. So let me just show you that. We get Pokemon's Pikachu, Selby, Eevee, all of the file in here has been read from the file system, and asynchronously call this callback with passing in the data that has been read from this Pokemon.txt. Then we can just console.log. As simple as that, you can read file. There's also another function is the fs open. It is like a bit advanced function. So if you want like read from the file system, like kind of a large file, and you don't want to read the whole file, so you can use this open method where it's just gonna open up and put that on all puts the whole file on the memory. Then you can just specify the number of bytes you want to read from the Pokemon. So let's say this file has 4 bytes, so we want to just read 2. For example, this is a 2 byte, so we're gonna read just 2 bytes from here. You just use this function. You can put in how much bytes you want to read and which buffer you want to read into, and all this kind of like advanced thing. But for a simple thing, just use the read file function or read file method, and you're gonna do the best job. We're gonna do it like very quickly for you, unless you can use this one. So I'm not going to demonstrate this one because it's a bit confusing. You need to like know the buffer, you need to initialize the buffer with the right size and all of this kind of thing. The statistics and the type of your file, all of them are a bit confusing. So what you can do is just read the documentation. There's the there's the open file in there, and it's very like self-explanatory. You're gonna show you can see the examples, the practical examples, and you're gonna just show you right out of the box how to use the open method for advanced usage. But this is like very simple things, so we're gonna just use the file system reading here. Also, the other function I'm gonna cover is the file system append. So append file is, it can append on the last thing on the file, so on a new line, and at the end of the file it can append something in here. So we can use this function to append stuff in there on the file. So the function, what it does or what it takes is, the first argument is the file path we want to append to. So the file path, the data we want to append, so we want the data we want to write into the file, and obviously the encoding as the read file. So we're going to use UTF-8 and the callback with an arrow if there is any. If not, it's just going to emit that specifically. So we can use that. We can use the same thing in here. So here, as I've said, the second argument is the data we want to add. So let's say data has been added. So this is what we want to add at the end of the file, and we want to like add UTF-8 for the encoding. It's optional, of course, because it's gonna know this like UTF-8 by default, but it's always better to include that rather than doing nothing. So here you call the callback if there's any errors. So we check if error, we console.log and .log error. If not, just gonna append us to the file. So first read the file, then we append the file. But what we can do is we can append to the file, then read the file. So that can demonstrate that a bit. Like we have edited the file, then we did it again. So node main.js, and yeah, here we've got nothing, I believe, or yeah, here's data has been added successfully, and since it is on asynchronous way, those are both running at the same time, so you can't use that till that finish. So now if what we can do is added that when that finish, start reading. So this is like how asynchronous things works. If this first operation finish, then do the second operation that is specifically related to the first one. This is how it must work. You can't just put it the first instruction then the second one, because it's non-blocking way. Not gonna wait for the first one till finishes then move on to the next one and so on and so forth. No, it's not working like this. So this is how you can do it to be more specific. And let's say, hey, this is me, for example, just a simple example here, and here I would like to clear everything and call again node.main.js. As you can see, data has been added successfully, and hey, this is me. Now we see the changes after that has been added to the Pokemon.txt in here. Everything has been done successfully in here, so you can append the file in here as well. Also, for getting the statistics like about a file, you can use the stat method, and all of that obviously you're gonna take the file path. So Pokemons, let me put that again. The second one, you're gonna take the callback with an object of the stats or the statistics. And what is the statistics actually is the file type, the file name, the size of the file, all of this kind of things are the statistics of the file. And you're gonna need it if you want to use like the fs.open, because it needs like the size of the file in order to like initialize the buffer actually, and with the like precise size, then do it all over the way. This is how it can work to be more specific. So here we put the stats, and once that finishes, what we want is, so let me just use this. So what we want is console.log the statistics about this file. So console.log stats and stats. So this, like you can see, like this is an object. It's going to be an object. So now we don't need this anymore. So let me just comment this out. Control S, save it again. Now node main.js. As you can see, we get an object full of things like the developments, the mode. If you like familiar with permissions, like open up or write permission with the owner or the group, all this kind of things is on the statistics objects. Also, as you can see, there's the ID, the size 124, and everything in here you cannot find in the statistics, because it's like very beneficial method for you if you are dealing, as I've said, with an advanced file system methods like the open one. And that was actually pretty much it to do like the file system as. And you can also, if you want, you can read the documentation. There's plenty of methods in here. As you can see, there's the access, the append to file. As I've said, you can change mode or change the mode or change the permissions. As I've said, you can change the permissions from administrator to, or the group, the owner of the group can run it to like read it only and non-writable by the owner of the group, so on and so forth. You can do all these kind of things using this very basic and very simple API from Node.js, and then the file system, of course. So as I've said, that was it pretty much. Like I say, guys, that was just the basic methods, or covering the basic methods about the file system, or the standard method FS. You can find like plenty of other file system modules out there on the NPM, so like feel free to check them out if you really like them. But I really like working with us, and I'm very comfortable working with the file system, or the standard file system modular, and it's just doing the job very perfectly. So thank you guys for watching. As I've said, that was it. It's very simple. I will catch you in the next one. We're actually going to do the Express server and do like a very practical thing with Node.js. So I will catch you in the next one.